No? Is that a yes or no?
Have we done that officially? No.
Yes, no, maybe.
Well, mask offs?
Yeah, with that, we're doing it in our stores. If people are fully vaccinated, no,
Oh.
they don't need to wear a mask.
Yeah, no, I think the governor's order still is that if you're in large crowds, you still wear your masks. But, yeah, we haven't done that yet up here. As a matter of fact, I think that mask restriction that we had, I think they expired last year in March.
So, never did renew it.
I know what
Officially.
school's gonna be doing. The same, we still have ours.
Masking,
Yes. With the
Yeah.
kids? Yes.
I would say probably till July 1st.
Yeah.
Everybody's
Maybe
gonna,
we're almost there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Is everybody vaccinated in this room?
Yes,
Yes,
I am.
I am.
Okay.
Yeah, I went with all the seniors.
All us oldies. Surprised that nobody would not want to.
Well, there's a lot.
Yeah, I can't believe how
Don't
many.
want to.
Really.
I know, I am surprised too.
Yeah, there's a, I indicated that 1/3, that 30% is never gonna get vaccinated because they feel the government's too
Tracking.
controlling.
I like the ones that are like, there's a magnet here, there's a magnet here. That is hilarious.
This is a hard copy of fixed assets that are getting sold on auction.
Holy
So that
moly.
you guys don't have to print that big file. Just skim through some of those pictures. See if you want.
Did you have to seek prior approval from state, the OSA, from State Auditor's Office?
No, as long as we get approval from council.
And that was done.
Yeah.
Time is it there, Mr. Vaqueras?
3:33, senor.
Okay, we'll start this meeting, call this meeting to order, 3:30 p.m. Will you be taking down notes or is your?
No, she is doing double duties as a payroll.
So are you recording this or?
Yes, I'll be taking the notes.
Okay, and are we on YouTube? Or no?
Eddie should be turning us on,
Oh, okay,
so.
and everything on this agenda has been publicized and put on our website?
Yes.
Okay, so we meet all requirements for OMA?
We're not subject to OMA, but we did put the agenda on the website like a week ago.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Dana Minus,
Present.
Francino Martinez,
Present.
Alan Franken,
Present?
Councilman Montoya.
Present.
Councilman Rodriguez sent me an email saying she was not going to be able to make it today, that
Okay,
she was still in Santa Fe.
all right. We'll put that down as unexcused,
She
or is
did-
there a courtesy call, just excused?
Excused.
Okay.
She had a doctor's appointment.
All righty. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is a pledge of allegiance. Rosina, you want to do English?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda, and we are on May 27th, 2021.
And
first,
I second.
and second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed, none, so moved. Approval of the minutes, and these are of April 29, 2021.
I move to approve the minutes as presented.
Do I have a second?
I second it.
Second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed, see none. Motion passes. Next item is public input. Mr. Vaquera.
I do not have any public input for this meeting.
Thank you. We move on to the next item. And item number, discussion items is letter A, resolutions number 21-24, budget adjustments. Mr. Vaqueras.
This budget adjustment needs committee approval, so I can take it to council on the June 9th meeting. It is, law enforcement is gonna get $37,400, and seizure funds, $67,750.
What kind of funds, Mr. Baqueta?
Seizure funds?
Oh,
The cops
Yeah.
sold $67,000 worth of handguns,
wow.
so. And then the streets co-ops, that is part of the 103,000 that's in resolution 221 also. But I forgot to put the transfers in it, so I'm doing it now with this resolution. The resolution 221 came across for council approval in April. So that one's already been approved by council along with resolution 2122 for the online auction. So those two have council approval, they got approved by the council. Councilman Montoya, have you had a chance to talk to our mayor as far as getting all these resolutions approved by committee before it goes to council?
Yes, we had discussion at the last city council meeting because the mayor asked if those items, resolutions had gone before the finance committee. Well, we have a little bit of a dilemma there because Mr. Vaqueros needs to submit this resolutions to the committee, but sometimes he's on a time frame, on a time limit, and there's a council meeting coming up the next week or 2 weeks period, and we won't have a finance committee meeting, but yet the council meeting's coming on, so he puts him in there. And that's where the mayor asked, well, did this come through the committee's recommendation or not? But sometimes that's not gonna be possible to do all the time. And Mr. Franken, you asked the question the last time, I think it was, that how come we're voting or approving something or recommending on something that has already been done? And that's the justification. The only way that we will be able to run everything through the finance committee is if the finance committee met every month and probably like the first or second week of the month. And that way, Mr. Vaqueros would get everything ready for us, and then we would approve it here or disapprove it or table it, whatever. And then it would go to mayor and council whenever they had their meeting on the second or third week of the month. So for those reasons, that's the only explanation that there is. And right now we're meeting once a month
Once a month, last Thursday of the month.
till July, and then we'll see what, if we want to continue once a month or like the clerk had passed a resolution last year that we'd meet once every 3 months. So, but the wishes of the board so far were to meet once a month, right? Till July.
Well, yeah, I think we weren't sure what our role really was, and this is stuff that's very new to me as far as government budgeting, accounting, and these ladies have a better handle on all that stuff, Mr. McKenna does, but just to learn more about the process.
What is the expectation from us?
Well, it's up to the,
To assist in finance.
yeah,
And I've just like, given examples as to like what our school district does. We meet on a Tuesday and our board meeting is on a Thursday. So everything that I present is through the finance committee. We've got 2 members, like the way we all do here too. So if any board members have any concerns, the 2 that are attending can bring the other 3 up to speed as to, be sure and you ask a question on, because I've said before, they even go into depth as far as asking for explanations on expenditures. Okay, but we do meet once a month, to discuss bars, budget transfer requests, journal entries. That's another issue, budget journal entries.
We do the same.
well, our ordinances and the charter reads that the finance committee should meet once every 3 months. That's what they approved last year. And that approval can change now in July through the city clerk and the resolution with the governing body. When we came on board, we decided that the 4th Thursday would be a good time to meet till July, every month, in-person meetings due to the COVID. Mr. Vaqueros, do you recommend that we have a meeting like the week before the council meeting, the first council meeting, in order for you to bring stuff before us and in a time frame, or how will we do this so that we won't have a conflict of not being able to address the issues before they go to mayor and council?
We would have to meet the first week of the month, since the council meeting is the 2nd and the 3rd week. And I usually have stuff in the 3rd meeting. The 3rd meeting, I have my finance report. So the 2nd one, I try to get as much bars in there as much as possible.
So the first meeting, the first week in every month on a Wednesday or Thursday would be sufficient time for you to put items on the agenda for the following Wednesday?
Actually, no, because
It's 10 days.
Cassandra has a deadline of a week before that to turn in stuff to her.
So it's 10 days before or 7 days before or before the meeting?
7 days, the Friday,
7 days.
yeah.
So
So we could do it on the first week and then have it all turned in for the 3rd week, the
Oh,
3rd
okay.
week meeting,
yeah.
and have nothing on the 2nd week.
So what if there's something that's pressing that you need to do on the first meeting? Then it just bypasses the
It
committee?
won't have approval from the committee.
But how often would that happen? I mean, you've got to have 10 days anyway to put it in the public notice. Any item that has to come before the council has to be advertised a certain amount of time before they can vote on it?
No, it's just the agenda
Okay.
for the council. I have to have it to the city clerk.
So that agenda doesn't have to have specific items to be approved, it just has to have what? The items will
Just on
be,
the agenda.
just items will be brought up?
Mm-hmm.
Or whatever items he has that he presents here, those items need to be put on the agenda on his report. But he has to let the clerk know ahead of time, 10 days, 7 or 10 days ahead of time, when the deadline is due for the clerk. So, it's kind of like a hit and miss. If he has a deadline to meet, he'll have to put it on the first meeting of the council meeting of the month, or do it on his finance reports on the second meeting of the month. So let me ask you this question, Mr. Vaqueras. So is the last Thursday of the month not working as well as it would work the first week of the month? Or does it matter? Because on the first week, you're gonna run into, it'd have to be Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, because if she has to have her stuff in by Friday, that would just give you a day's preparation for that, but I don't know.
Chairman, I have a question.
Go ahead.
So what are we missing at the beginning that we're not getting now at the end? Are we missing like everything that's happening in that short period between the end and the beginning? Is that what we're missing, or?
For example, the two resolutions that are on there, 221 and 222, those have already been approved by mayor and council, because I did not have an opportunity to bring them to you guys before the finance committee. And, I mean, they're material bars. One of them was for $550,000 in the wastewater, and the other one was for the online auction, which is, I mean, the last auction raised $100,000.
So what dates did that, for you to prepare it before you went to council, did that happen?
These got approved by council on the second week of April.
So you prepared them the first week of April?
This one was prepared on May 24th, can I? They submitted.
Well, yeah, this one's coming up to council
June
on the
9th.
June,
9th.
first meeting in June.
Yeah.
The other two got on the May 19th council meeting.
Okay, so this is going to present it on the 9th. What you're saying, the 21, 22, and 21, 21 already passed through council.
Yes, on the
Okay.
May 19th meeting.
Okay,
Yeah, the April 29th.
okay.
Along with the April finance report was in that meeting also.
So in other words, any resolution or anything that comes before us after the second meeting, or in between both council meetings, is not going to be heard by the council till the following month. Because of the time frame that he needs to put, to give it to the clerk.
Right.
And then by that time, we've had our third council meeting, and it's got to wait till the following month. So that resolution will be a month late. So it's always gonna, to me, I think it's always gonna hit and miss, because you can't you can't project when you need to have this reports or resolutions.
Resolutions or bars
Bars.
submitted to us.
Yeah, and then when you need to make these adjustments, well, you gotta make them as soon as possible, just enough time to run it through mayor and council. So, it wouldn't be fair also to not let this committee know what's already gone through mayor and council, for instance. There's nothing to hide, it's just the time frame that he has to be able to run it through mayor and council.
Mark is put it on the agenda, as long as it is present.
Yeah,
So Jesus, in all honesty, when would you like us here?
if at all.
I think that if we could have the last Thursday of every month, but if I do need you guys, we can schedule the first Thursday of the month if I have resolutions to present to you guys for mayor and council.
We can always have a special meeting for that. Call a special meeting when there is some.
A finance committee meeting? Okay.
Yeah, finance committee meeting, special meeting.
I'll call you guys whenever I have bars that need approval before mayor council meetings. And we can do a quick,
The only problem I have with that is then you need to advertise too.
I just need to advertise on the website.
Yeah.
So no big deal.
Okay.
I can submit it to
Yeah.
community development, put it on the website. I gotta schedule IT to have it on YouTube.
That's the only way that we're gonna get to be able to have a say-so on every resolution that comes before us or bars.
I know that once a month to me it's my
Schedule.
Schedule. I'm just, we're all busy, but
Yeah.
to think that I could come twice a month is like, I know I'm doing really good with the
Yeah, once a month.
once a month. Yeah, but I know that if you try to call me again twice a month, I don't know if I could make that other appointment unless you send us the documentation,
Yeah, if you give
For-
us
for your
documentation
review,
early,
but-
we can pop in,
Ah.
that's not a problem. For
So
me.
you present, you have how many meetings do you guys have a month? My gosh. Guys
What's
got
that?
more-
You guys have two a month?
Two a month?
Council?
You know what I mean? Well,
There's some
Well-
committees that do, we,
this is
council
a
meets.
committee, but a
Yeah.
council meeting, he's having to present to a council meeting twice a month?
No, he normally represents the second meeting of the month.
Okay, you go
we-
once a month to the council meeting to present anything in finance.
For the finance report, yes.
Oh.
But on the first committee, the first council meeting, sometimes I present a bar that's been sitting there and I need approval.
So you have two council meetings per month?
Yes,
Yes,
the second and third Wednesday of every month. And they're 4-hour meetings. And the mayor and the city manager try to accommodate all the items that are business items, for instance, and that are gonna move the city forward in the first meeting. And then they try and do like more, this coming month, the second meeting is gonna be pretty much 90% financial.
finance.
Like a
because it-
work session.
Well, it's not a work
It's,
session, it's a
Yeah.
council meeting, but,
We're gonna get the budget approved.
yeah, we're gonna get this
Okay.
next year's budget approved, and there's gonna be a lot of changes and a lot of questions and a lot of input.
No.
And
That's how we call it a work session.
Work session,
Because I
yeah.
have a work session
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
for that, just for
Yeah.
community input.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
just once a year, that, right before we present our budget.
Yeah.
Like ours, we approved ours on Monday night.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that meeting is gonna be particularly focused more on that. Otherwise, we'd have to have another special meeting and have a work session meeting and just attack that by itself. And, but,
I think given the nature of our advisory capacity, I mean, we serve at the desires of the mayor, but I think, doing it the way we're doing it, we're gonna catch, like you say, hit and miss. Some stuff we'll have in advance, some stuff we won't, but, maybe it's like a ratification when it's already done, and we'll say, well, wait a minute, you guys shouldn't have done that. Or, just let it go and say, yeah, that looked good, and we also give our approval of what the council has already done, and sometimes we'll catch it before, a lot of times afterwards, but to try to meet, just so we could get in advance of the presentation to the council would be hard. Special meetings to do that. I mean, if we were the governing body that made this decision, yeah, we would want that special meeting, but I think given our advisory capacity, that once a month is more than enough, maybe at some point we would go back to quarterly, but.
And to add to that, if it's just a bar that's just moving from one line to another, which is like a maintenance bar, those ones are just all ratifications, how our district does it. But if it's like a new allocation that we're getting from, COVID, let's say, from something that's really put a lot of money on waiver, those I make sure that it's a bar that it's going to be presented on. It's not a ratification.
Then we can come for a special meeting.
But they're not like all the time, you know what I mean? And he's saying.
I do have a bunch of ratifications. I do. But
Yeah.
they're.
But if he's
it's
saying
just
he
moving
needs us.
Within
Yeah.
the function. It's
Yeah.
Within the function.
So, Mr. Vaqueras, pretty much the determination is to just go and leave it on the last Thursday of every month, for now?
Okay.
Going back to this resolution, does anybody have questions on the transfers?
This is 21-24?
Yeah.
Yes. And this budget adjustments, we're gonna be getting them all the time, because it's money that's moving, coming in or going out, or coming in from one account to another, so. So I'll stand for a motion to approve resolution 21-24.
So moved.
Budget adjustment, Mr. Franklin. Do you have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Dinah Manis,
Yes.
Francina Martinez,
Yes.
Alan Franken,
Yes.
Councilman Montoya.
I don't have voting power. Motion passed. We'll move on to letter B, resolution number 21-22, online auction. Again, we had an auction a while back, and Mr. Vaqueras, could you tell us a little bit about that auction, how it went, and how much money the city made, and where that money went?
The last auction was probably August. We raised a little over 100,000. The way the city manager decided to spend or to separate that money was give it back to the department that sold the stuff that got auctioned. That way we sort of entice the department to bring more of their obsolete equipment up for sale. So if your department sold that equipment, you got that money.
Can you start from the beginning as how you started the whole process? Was it that you looked at all your inventory sheets first and then you made a determination? You seeked out who to
This first one was already started when I got here. And I think it was just because our scrapyard was full, so we were just trying to get rid of scrap metal and stuff.
Excuse me, Mr. Monteras. I requested to the city manager that the city of Las Vegas had to have an auction because they hadn't had one in a long time. And we toured a couple of the departments, the city manager and myself, and I told them this stuff that hasn't been used in years and that is just depleting by weather and the tires of some equipment and the paint jobs and everything else that the sun's beating up and the snow and the weather. All this stuff we need to get rid of it. There's no need for it. We need to get it off our books. And that's when they decided that they do an online auction because of the pandemic. And Mr. Vaqueras, how much did we pay for that online auction? What percent or how much dollars?
The auctioneers charge 3% on the items that they're bidding on, and that's how they get paid.
Who was the company?
It's an out-of-state company.
It's out of Tucson, yeah. It's on that, where's that hardbook?
Right there.
Hardcover. It's on that hardcover.
That's very reasonable fee
Yeah,
if they get a lot of people on. It's not Ritchie Brothers or somebody like that.
I think they, I'm not sure if they went through an RFP on it or.
no, I think we
With a little-
piggybacked on, the
State
city of
contract.
Tucson had them set up, and we just piggybacked on that contract.
So we went with a state, already that had done an RFP with someone else.
Yes.
Okay.
So it was successful, and for that reason, we're trying to do another one to get rid of some other stuff that we didn't include on that one because of the time frame and the time limits that we were on. So, this one won't probably bring us much, and this one probably, won't have as many items. But, again, it worked out all right online. I think it gives, others, from out of our city limits an opportunity to bid on this stuff. And sometimes when it's junk, we really don't want to see it out on the street again, so it turned out to be pretty good.
How much was it again? There's not an amount on the,
100,000, the last time
on this one, yeah.
on this one, we don't know.
You don't know yet?
We don't know.
And the
but
last one was how much?
The other one, we raised $100,000.
100,000.
Yeah, and we paid 3% of every item that was sold, not of the dollar amount.
Okay.
No, the 3% is on top of the 100,000. So the auctioneer took their cut already.
Yeah,
So
100,000 is on top of the 3%.
the 100,000 is what we ended up getting.
Yeah, that's what I'm
So
saying.
they got,
So they got 3.1.
yeah,
Yeah.
That's good.
that is.
Awesome.
See, this one was,
Sometimes you just have vehicles that are sitting there forever and
oh, yeah.
Any other questions on resolution number 2122? If there's none, I'll stand for motion on this.
I guess,
One more question, I'm sorry. This was all in your fixed assets?
No, by this time, they've been
They were already,
deleted off of our fixed assets.
but you have a list for your auditors?
Yes.
Okay.
I know I asked that question too.
I don't- Sorry, we're like,
Deletions?
we're gonna ask you what the auditors are gonna ask you, that's why we're asking, sorry.
Normally take 30 days before we can make a move,
Yeah.
once we submit our data to them.
Exactly. We're
Mr.
just
Chairman,
asking you what the auditors are gonna ask.
I don't know if it's in order to ratify something that's already done by the council, but I'd say I would move to ratify the resolution 2122 for the online auction. as it's already been approved by council.
A second.
Roll call us, please.
Dinah Manis,
Yes.
Francina Martinez,
Yes.
Alan Franken,
Yes.
Motion passes. Item number C, resolution number 21-21, budget adjustments. Mr. Vaqueros.
this resolution was going to Fund 217, which is our special legislative appropriations for 53,306, and for the senior center for 34,500, and for the wastewater construction fund for 550,000. The wastewater construction fund, they are working on lift stations, and Maria got an additional loan, this 550,000, to increase the loan to $1 million, so that we can complete, I think it's 3 lift stations
Yes.
throughout town.
Mhm.
So the loan has already been approved through NMFA. We're getting a pretty good deal for the loan. I think it's pretty close to 1%. So
And the senior citizen, the budget increase was due to legislative funding, the 34.5.
yes, and it's for exercise equipment. So
Any questions?
For water, what was that again?
the wastewater construction
Yeah.
fund. It's for lift stations. We got one of them right behind the utility offices on 12th,
Mm-hmm.
and the other one is by the
Industrial park.
industrial park, and the other one is at the plant, at the sewer plant.
And you have to register rentals up there, what?
Any other questions? We call for the question.
This is already approved by council.
Yes.
Also. Mr. Chairman, I move to approve or ratify the resolution.
Thank you. I have a second.
Aye.
Roll call, please.
Diana Mayness,
Yes.
Francina Martinez,
Yes.
Alan Franken.
Yes.
Motion passes. You know, these are the same items that timely-wise, when Maria submits them, she's got deadlines to meet also. So when he receives this information, Maria puts them on the agenda and we run them through. So,
You don't want to lose that money. It's a chance to get.
Mm-hmm.
well, some of them are low interest rates and some of them are just matching funds.
Yeah.
And you can't delay those things, no. So, the next item on the agenda is letter D, April's finance report. Mr. Vaqueros.
Finance report for April, it's 84% of the year. Our revenues for the general fund were at 99%. Our expenditures are at 72%. The enterprise fund is at 86% revenues, 70% expenditures. Our rec department is 74% revenues, 73% expenditures. And lodger's tax has 204% revenues and 32% expenditures.
Questions?
Is the spending on the lodgers tax so low just mostly because of the COVID issues where people haven't been doing events, or why are we holding on to that money when maybe we should be out getting it out there and investing it?
Good question, Mr. Franklin. I'll let Mr. Vaqueros go at it first.
Okay,
This is for the
The-
larger stuff?
Yes.
yeah,
But I thought there was only a surplus of 23,000 done on the bottom.
no, lodger's tax has a surplus of 190,000.
sorry.
Their big
Yes.
projects
I see that.
have been delayed by council. They've done a wayward sign, and council has either tabled or delayed that program or that project at least 3 council meetings that I've been at.
We've delayed 2 items.
I kind of chime in on the, trying to see how their whole operation works, so I'll log in to see. But you won't lose this funds anymore, right? This, you can
No.
carry this
Carry
190
forward, this
over
is money that
for
we
July
already
the
have in
1st.
our coffers.
Okay,
And
so maybe there just needs
it's
to be
just a
little
matter
bit
of
more-
when they
better communication
when they
between
spend it.
the department that wants to spend or follow the right protocol, whether, I don't know if I just logged in and it was a discrepancy on signs or something like that.
Signs and
Right, correct me if
and
I'm wrong.
procurement of the signs.
Exactly. So when you're throwing stuff back, like you said, we're going back to procurement now.
And, yeah,
At the end of the day, what is the goal here? Maybe you need more assistance with your procurement officer, with the person that is going to be spending, okay? Bring that to her attention or his, you do have a procurement officer, right?
yes,
Yeah,
Ms. Helen Ortiz.
right.
Yeah.
And that way you get because the goal is to spend the money, right?
Yes.
That is the goal.
What do you
Instead of
usually
being
spend it
tabled.
on?
This is the deal. Lodger's tax money comes from motels and the business community. They pay a lodger's tax. Mayor and council right now, we're trying to include the ARBs,
R&B's.
R&Bs also to start paying a tax on those. The First Business Alliance, and I'll set an example, they requested a funding for Fresco Fridays,
Fresco.
or Fresco. And that item really wasn't approved, I guess, for lack of a second. After reviewing the meeting on YouTube, there was a second, but the chairman, I guess, didn't hear it or ignored it or whatever, but it didn't go through. But regardless, this last council meeting, or the prior council meeting, mayor and council took it upon themselves to go ahead and approve it, because mayor and council has that authority. And again, mayor and council did last year put a limitation as to what lodger's tax can give out. for any organization or individuals that go before them and ask for a limit up to $5,000 per event. So, except for fiestas or the motorcycle rally, they can give up beyond that. So, Mayor and Council right now at this point, they're requiring and requesting from Lodgers Tax that anybody that goes before Lodgers Tax that receives monies, we need to know the end result, how it was spent, and for what purpose, and what effect did it take in our community? Did it bring tourists back into our community or not? Or heads to bids, and so forth. The other item was like the 2 bulletin billboards that they wanted to have on I-40.
I-40?
On I-40. We had questions about that, and council tabled that item, so they brought it back before us, and they brought us, documentation and supporting documentation as to where they're at, how big they are, what it says on them, and so forth, all the details on it. So then we approved it. So those kind of things, the pandemic, I guess, really didn't take a big hit on Lodgers Tax, because I guess motels still did real good. And then also the movie industry helped out. So I think that's why those two big concerns, big issues that kept Lodgers Tax throughout the year up there, and I think that's why they have so much money. And then due to the pandemic, there was no events happening in our community, so they saved up some money there. But council is ready to I guess, kind of relinquish or take off that $5,000 limit and increase it for other events also. So we're working with them, and Lodgers Tax are working, I think, on their application process. And right now, I guess they kind of have two different avenues of requests, and they're working on that kind of a form, requesting for the funding, whether it's advertisement or whether it's bringing event for events in town and so forth.
So the procurement is either advertisement or having the events, but it's something for the community to bring in more.
Yeah, Lodgers Tax is for events that are happening within the community that is going to help the community and the business owners and the whole community being gross receipt tax.
So what's the limit on the advertising? Is it just billboards? Is it television?
No, there's no limitation.
No?
We've approved pamphlets and newspaper ads and so forth.
Radio,
There's different,
television,
There's different
media.
kinds of advertisement.
The limit's 5,000 now,
Yeah,
and
At
the
this time.
council's gonna change it.
yeah. So,
It's interesting. Like to see more.
But it's strictly for advertising, right? It's not to get a band or to pay for
No.
food trucks or anything like that. It's
Yeah.
just for the advertising for the event, to promote it. Promotions and advertising, as I understand it.
I didn't bring my documentation. I always carry it with me for the council meetings, but, yeah, and you can go into the Las Vegas website, and you can see the charter there, and it tells you Lodgers Tax and what that money is supposed to be used for, and what percentage of that money the city can use and dedicate to. If we wanted to have, for instance, if the city would decide that tomorrow we want to start saving money aside for a convention center, we have the authority to take a percentage of the Lodgers Tax to do such a.
Oh, for a capital item.
Yes. But mostly are basically, the descriptions are there, but basically it's for advertisement, for advertising, for people to come visit Las Vegas, New Mexico.
The revenue that is earned, it's 20% of it is earmarked for infrastructure.
Yeah.
So if you look at the two line items for the revenue, one's the promotions and the other one's
Oh, I see.
infrastructure.
Oh, okay.
Any other questions on this budget?
Thank you for the info.
Next item is letter E, terms, discussions, article 6 on the city charter, board commissions, and advisory committees. Everybody got a copy of section 601, general provisions of the governing bodies of boards and commission? Okay. On letter D, it says the terms of office of the regular members of the board and commissions shall be 4 years staggered and provided hereon. Okay? We're not a board and we're not a commission. At the first meeting of each board and commission following the effective date of this charter, each such body shall determine by lots which of its members shall serve a 2-year term or which shall serve a 4-year term. So we're neither one, we're a committee. We serve at the pleasure of the mayor and council, and we serve for till the next election. At that time, the mayor would have the chance and the opportunity to replace or start brand new or do without. Okay. The two categories achieving equal membership are as nearly as possible. Therefore, the mayor shall make appointments every 2 years subject to council approval and provided hereon for the positions whose terms have expired. So with us as committees, we're at the disposal of mayor and council, and we're here till the next election, and then if they want to keep us on board, well, we stay on board. Any other questions on that? That's pretty much everything on the agenda. I would just like to mention that last night's special meeting, we did receive confirmation and a letter of resignation from our city manager, William Taylor. He will be retiring, and mayor and council will move forward on the process of obtaining another city manager. The 4th of July fiestas will continue. 4th of July parade is on schedule. And the fireworks display will be at New Mexico Islands University. And those will be part of the fiesta activities. Is there anything else, Mr. Vaqueras, that we should inform the Finance Committee about?
No, sir.
Okay. Does anybody have any other questions, concerns, or issues? Go ahead.
The golf course.
The golf course.
It's the other.
Last night, last
Bring
night's,
the-
it's not on the agenda, but it's good for discussion, plus the public needs to be aware of it. Last night's special meeting, that item was on the agenda, and that was Mexico Highlands University came and gave a presentation to mayor and council a week ago, and they were asking for support of reopening the golf course to the public. And they had already gone before San Miguel County, and San Miguel County agreed to pitch in $70,000 for this year and $70,000 for next year. As well as the city of Las Vegas, we agreed to go ahead and pitch in $70,000 for this year's operations. And they'll be up to New Mexico Highlands University staff to do the RFPs or hire whoever's going to run the catering or the restaurant and stuff like that. They will be managing it. Mayor and council will have one person at the table on their committee, and they'll be giving us updates every quarterly and see how it goes. We're just partnering. To my understanding, the Las Vegas City Schools is also contributing another $10,000. And this is also that the community has another avenue of activity in this community.
I know in the past, the school district would, I'm speaking on behalf of West Las Vegas, but they would trade on services with them in the past or pay them to use their facilities for our students. So for example, for like golf, or when it came time for golf season. That's what had been done in the past, but I know that this whole thing had taken place now. So like the revenues that they're going to be receiving now, when they do open up, those revenues will go to whom? Right, because they're gonna open up the golf course, right?
Yeah, they'll go to Highlands, and Highlands is gonna manage it. They'll find somebody to manage it.
Okay. Highlands
But
will-
apparently they asked West Las Vegas, and they didn't mention that they were gonna be contributing or be a part of it. I don't know.
Right. I heard about it, but.
But yeah, no, New Mexico Highlands University will be in charge of it. But there will be a committee where those entities that pitched in have a voice at the table, and they'll be reporting back to every entity
So all the,
quarterly.
right, all the revenues collected will be kept by the university,
Yes,
right?
and they would be the ones to, however they're gonna do it, procurement, low bidder or RFP or whatever, on
But
the
they'll
operations
keep-
of
but
it.
they'll
They have
keep them.
they have a plan,
Right.
yeah. And we'll see if it's successful or not. We have the option to pull out and, you know, if it doesn't work within 1 year, so if we see that it's not working, we have the option to pull out from it, so. We're just trying to help each other out.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I appreciate as a golfer and mostly as a businessman, the willingness of the city and the county, because really Highlands won't benefit as much as the city and the county will by tourism and activities for youth, activities for adults. And I think the benefits will be there to have that as part of our community. So I think it'll bring youth golf back to Vegas, which we lost for the last few years of operating the golf course. We didn't have youth programs, very, very poor. And so I think it's good. And,
Well, it's on a trial
Saves
basis. Let's see what happens. And future plans from New Mexico Highlands University is that maybe they can look into housing development, like for professors or anybody really that wants to buy a home there. But that's further discussions about water rights and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, and I hear you, and my position was that if it's not for the selected few, I mean, I'm gonna go for it. But I would like the kids from Wagon Mountain or Mora or Springer, Montezuma, Sapeo, to all be equally treated the same as any community member in Las Vegas. That should be opened up, just like the rec center, to anybody that wants to use that. So, yeah.
Even
And
if
the schools,
Even if the
of
schools
course.
pay, because I know we've always paid to
Yeah.
use the facility.
So, with that, if there's no further questions, ask for adjournment, motion.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed? None? Meeting adjourned. What time, Mr. Vaqueras?
4:30.
4:30.
Good job.
Thank you all much. Our next meeting will be on the 24th of June. Is that right?
Last Thursday.
Last Thursday of the month. And Mr. Chairman, Vice Chair, I asked that I might need you to step in at that meeting, because I might be out of town on that day.
3:30?
Yes, 3:30 on June 24th.